All right, starting out with the big picture view, the first thing that we need to do is understand what it is that we're doing when we're doing search engine optimization course. And what we're doing is we're looking at the online presence. The online presence has a lot of components. The first component of that is the website. That is sort of the main thing, the area that you've got the most control of, and the thing that we're going to be looking the closest at, because it's got the ability for you to make the most difference in how you're appearing in search results. But there are other things such as social media, YouTube, all types of places that will contribute to it, and there's different kinds of tools. Now, we've talked about using the Rave Tools, and we're going to be going into that. One of the cool things about this tool is that it pulls in a bunch of other tools. So as a tool, think of it as a system. And so what it's doing is it's pulling in information from other systems. And we can see that here. So I'm just going to choose the Backlinks Explorer here. And when we come over here, what you'll see is, okay, for external backlinks, it looks to Majestic. For external backlinks, it also looks to Moz. That's two different systems that do the same thing, looking at backlinks. It's got citation flow by Majestic, domain authority by Moz, load time by Site Auditor, page speed by Google. So there's a whole bunch of different tools and systems that are included within Raven, and that's why I've chosen this tool to do it, because now you may still have times where you need to go to these other tools, but the base data from them has been included, so you don't have to sign up for accounts to use these different systems. And so within that, so for example, times that you may want to go out. This is Moz. They're Moz local. So when you're doing a name, address, and phone number search, one of the things that you can do is you can come to the Moz local and you can enter the URL in here for free. It's one of their free tools. And what it will do is it will go through and it will scan the Google My Business, the Facebook, and a number of other different types of sources. So here's primary sources, places that you've got control of if they belong to you. Direct network are places that pull from it, and indirect network are where people such as your users can contribute. So that's actually, again, different systems that are related to how it's going to how the search engines are going to look at you as an entity. So there's the primary sources that you can control, the direct network, which is influenced by the primary sources but from other data as well, and the indirect network that is influenced by the people who are talking about your business. That's one of the ways to look at that. So again, we've talked about Majestic. In here you would have to, you could get a temporary account. There's pricing, but by using the Rave Tools, we'll be able to access the information that we need most of the time from those, so that there's no need to have to put a credit card in to set something up, that kind of thing. So now we're in Raven, and when we come to Raven and we go to the dashboard, this is going to sort of break it up into the one way of looking at these systems. So there's marketing performance metrics. So how are you doing within these different metrics that are looked at? And you'll notice that they're all brought about from different things. So the page speed, the load time, domain authority, these aren't things that you can immediately change. But what there is, and of course links is the people who are linking to your site, there's also, and this is where we're going to start focusing on because it's the areas where we have the most influence, is on-site SEO opportunities. So there's visibility issues, meta issues, content issues, link issues, semantic issues, and another place where you can see this is after you have set up your campaign and run the site auditor. What it's going to do is it's going to pull these on-site factors into one location so that you can understand. And again, this is a series of systems. So the first thing we're going to look at is visibility issues. And so down in this area, you'll see what those are. So with visibility issues, we'll go to page errors. So there were 4 page errors detected. When I click on that, it's going to bring me up into this other page, and there's all kinds of information in here. And one of the things you're going to have to learn is to look around in here. So I'm looking at all the errors there. I'm not able to see exactly what the problem is there. I don't see any blocked pages. Looking for page errors and redirects. And so that's actually where those are. Those are redirects. And so that's one of the things that we look at. So visibility. The second thing, again, going to the site auditor information, is meta issues. We'll go into that. Meta issues are, meta means, what's the best way to describe it? So if I just search for the word meta on Google, I get this definition. The important part here is referring to itself. So when we talk about meta issues, what we're really talking about is information that is there on the page about the page itself. Generally, the meta information is not visible to the public, with the exception of in search engine results pages. So I'm going to go to the page source here and show you how to find the meta information. And when you're looking at the code, you're going to find the section right here, usually right after the head tag, and it's got meta. So this happens to be information about the page. In this case, it's describing the character set, UTF-8, which is just it's an ASCII or a font or a alphabet kind of controlling thing. So that is the set of alphanumeric characters that it uses. Viewport is the size of the screen that you're looking on at. There's a bunch of them in here. The ones that we're going to be most, actually it's going to change which ones we look at depending upon where we're at, but there's a couple of them that are really key. Title tags. So there's the title tag, and again it's in this meta section, and meta description. And so these are 2 areas that need to have information, but you'll see that there's all kinds of information in here that falls into this category of meta. And so what we're going to do is we'll learn about looking at this. And so for example, you can see meta descriptions, title tags, and it's got a series of other things in here that can be considered by the partner organization. Let me go back to visibility issues here too. There's redirects, there's pages with errors, there's data blocked by robots.txt, and if there's malware on your site. If you've got malware on your site, you got a serious problem, got to be fixed right away. So this first set of the first system here is visibility issues, or issues that happen before somebody can load your page. Meta issues, as you saw in the code, is when your page is loading, it's information that's being loaded with your page that's designed for use by things such as search engines, but not necessarily designed to be seen by the users. Content issues are those things that are on the page that the user sees. So images, you're going to see a lot of, and we'll actually go into images over here because there's a lot of them here, but it's information, for instance, pages with low word count. So that's the one that you see most often. So is there something going on with the content that the search engines don't care for? Link issues are those links on the page. So there's different things to look at with those hyperlinks. So if I click on that, it's going to bring me somewhere. That's a hyperlink. That's what this is talking about, is all the different links that are set up on your page. Image issues, that there's all kinds of areas. This is actually the area that most people have the most issues with, is the image issues. So we'll look at those. For instance, it's got images missing alt text. Alt text is text that's put into along with an image, so that if you're unable to see the image, you can see text about what is the content of that. Images missing title text, that's sort of a new thing, but it's coming. That's mostly used if you do a search, and I'll just do a search for me, and you go to the images tag. What that is information about what is in that image itself. So if there were no tags associated with these images that had my name, if you did a search for it, it probably wouldn't find it. So what that's doing is, as we go more and more to image-based searching, what it's doing is it gives you the ability to tell them what is in the content of that document. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about the title text. Most of you are going to find that your partner organizations don't have this because it's a relatively new thing to start working with. The other one is if images are broken, if there's a link to an image that doesn't exist or won't load. Now the next one is semantic. Semantic means meaning. So when we go back to the content or the code here, what you'll find when you get down into the site itself, so here's a header, but they've also got, I'm looking for an H1 here. Let's do a search because it might save me time. H1. So here is an H1. That's telling you what's the most important thing on the page. This happens to be home. Home, by the way, is not a great H1 because if that search showed up in a search engine results page, it would just say home. There would be better words. We'll go over that later on. Home is not the best thing to use as a H1, a title, or a tag, but it's still, historically it was done that way, so you run into that quite often. So that's some of the semantic issues. Schema.org we don't go into a lot in here, but what that allows you to do is go from unstructured data to structured data by adding code in here that uses the schema.org organizational scheme for labeling text as data. So we won't spend a lot of time on that this semester, but it is something that you'll have access to. As you wander through, take a look at this tool. You'll see that there's Google Analytics, SEO metrics, rank tracking information, and you'll see each of these is using a different system to gather a different kind of information about your partner organization and give you the ability to do research on keywords, for example. The social media, this is one you guys may be more familiar with. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. It can track that and how your partner organization is interacting with those systems. Of course, there's ads from Google Ads, Bing Ads, and Facebook Ads. Communication gives you the ability to interact with some of those tools. CallRail is when you have a phone number on a site that you want to track. Email, you know what it is. Manage content, we won't do that in this class because we're not actually posting for our partner organizations, but you've got the ability to schedule posts, for example, to social media through this tool. So you won't use all of the tools in here, but I just wanted to lay out that they're sort of organized into the kind of systems that we're going to be looking at. And remember always, when you're going through this, the 4 questions that I'm going to be asking you. So if we're talking about page errors, what is it? Why does it matter? What did you find in the data? And what are your recommendations? So to answer the first question, what is it? A page server error indicates a problem with your website's hosting provider delivering a page to the search engine robot. Why does it matter? You click on the Learn More and you can dig into. So all of these tools that I'm going to give you have got places where you can go to learn more about what is going on. And so this is where you're going to find the answer to why does it matter. And this is one of those things where different people are going to get a little bit different education in this class based upon what they find in their partner's site. So if they have no errors of a certain type, you're less likely to dig into that and more likely to focus on the areas where you're having problems. So what is it? Why does it matter? What did you find in the data? Here's the data right here. And then what are your recommendations? So your recommendations are going to be after you've developed the insight that you developed from looking at the data, what are your recommendations going to be? And you will have a whole series of those as you go through the audit and turn it into a formal document that you'll present to the class and to your partner organization at the end of the semester. This video is getting a little bit long, so I will cut this off for now and we'll dig more into it later. What I'd like you to do at this point, you should already have your access to the Rave Tools. When you go in, you can set it to show your organization by clicking here. If you can't do that yet, then contact me or my assistant and we'll get that set up. So you can come in and then you can start your campaign, but then we have to give you access back to your campaign. When you first get access to your campaign, come into this SEO research, go to the site auditor, and when you first come in, there won't be any data, so you'll need to choose to run a crawl. When you run that crawl, it'll start going through your site and gathering data. You can also visit the Site Auditor Studio. It's just another view of the same information, and that's going to tell you just another way of looking at the data. So images missing, alt text. I can click on that. It's going to bring me the images. It's going to show me what page it was on. So this gives you the ability to start, if you were fixing those issues, going through and fixing them one-on-one. Okay, that's enough for now. I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.